Boom. Apologies there, guys, for the technical difficulties. Had a bit of a power cut here. Um, followed by another one, and then eventually we got it sorted. Don't know, was it something in the house or was it something going on in the area? But we didn't do anything in the gap to actually fix it. We just kind of, just waited. Was looking around, but there was nothing there that I could see it causing it. But we're back anyway. That's all that matters. Let's hope we stay that way. Barry Fields is out in the hot box along with myself. Anybody else out there? We'll get back to where we were. We just were finishing up on this article about Donegal. So we had finished up on that one, and we might jump into the next one. But I'll give you a couple of seconds more there to hop back in. Teresa, what's happening, girl? Having a bit of technical issues there with some power cuts and other sorts of nonsense. But fingers crossed there, that's the end of them. Going to get a bowl going. I think I'm long overdue a bowl there now after the stress of that. What's happening with yourself anyway, Teresa girl? Anything strange or exciting going on outside of the fact that we're 12 days away now from Spanibus, isn't it? The 14th. Are you flying out the 14th as well? No, or no, sure, you're there the day before me actually, wasn't it? You're there from the 13th, yeah? Wednesday the 13th, you're heading over there? Savage. It's going to be class few days. First time going to Spanibus as well, actually, for myself. So it'll be interesting for what I see. Do expect some live videos as well from over there, guys. So fingers crossed that we get some decent internet connection while over there, that we don't encounter technical issues like we are here at the moment. There we go. The hash is nice and crumbled now. Yes. Here we go. Loki, Popo, Sonny, and Holly. Hi, Loki. Hi, Popo. Hi, Sonny. Hi, Ali. Where's the ball, guys? Where's the ball? I hope they're jumping around the place now looking for the ball. Oh, sorry, Poppy. You said Popo. I thought you had the 5-0 up there with you, boy. Hanging out with the Popo. Teresa says hopefully Hunt Bowl Stefan needed, and can't wait. Thursday will be epic. Yes, indeed, it will. It will indeed. Just like this ball right now. Ooh. Free the pop-ups, yes. Dogs against drug prohibition. Good lordy, that hash hits hard. Free drug log, baby. Woo. All right, DT, Mr. Talker. Wow. Nice to know that. Yeah, you'd be happy to know. Sorry, that there's some lovely bubble hash there in that bowl of civil disobedience. Ooh, lovely stuff. How's she smoking these days, Mr. Tucker? Just back from the top of a mountain after playing in the snow for hours like a child. Happy fucking days, man. Ooh. Oh, choking after that one. Teresa says we'll have to join you in a ball. Yes, indeed. Civil disobedience all the way, guys. Have a little hash too. So sure, why not? What kind of hash you got, Teresa? I've been spoiled there lately. Got a Naja hash there one day off of Casa de Strugas. Have this bubble hash there, two other different grades of it. Or I had two other different grades of it actually. I've only got one more now. And yeah, got a gift as well of another Naja hash off of somebody else. Shout out to that person. Boom. Diddy Talker says I went up there just to dig a snow cave for 4 people. Can hardly stand up in it. Go on, boy. That sounds more like an igloo than a snow cave. But class, man. Fair play. Fair fucking play. Put on a multi-stream chat there now over here because at least that way I can see comments coming in over on X too. But boom. Shall we jump back in here because the article I want to jump into now, Witchy, is another one of these fucking horror headline stories. You know, we were talking there a while ago about the misinformation being spread by the Garda Commissioner, Drew Harris. But now, on this article, what's Teresa saying? Got it off a rash or a while ago. Can't remember what it was. Crumbles in light brown colour. Beautiful. Lovely. We jump over here anyway, news headlines, and oh, wouldn't you know, it isn't there. And there we go. So here is the article. Cannabis addict who murdered his girlfriend and mother and grandmother and grandmother's husband in a bloody killing spree is jailed for 46 years. But they really have to start that headline with cannabis addict. It's like, again, we were talking about it there earlier before the stream crashed, and how you never see this, like, you know, somebody murders somebody, and they never talk about the fact that, like, oh yeah, he's an alcoholic. You know, alcohol addict murders his girlfriend, mother, and They never really go into that side of it. They're really trying to stigmatize there, like, and hammer that part home. And you have to kind of wonder, really, what was the underlying issues there, because really, come on, guys, how many people out there smoke a joint and just get the urge to stab somebody who didn't previously to smoking joint have that urge anyway? But a cannabis addict who murdered 3 generations of his girlfriend's family after years of smoking pot turned him into a homicidal maniac. Seriously, like, years of smoking pot turn him into a homicidal maniac. It doesn't. It just doesn't. Like, there's nothing cannabis, like, after smoking it for a long period of time that's going to make you murderous. Unless you're already going downhill. Anyway, he got jailed for 46 years. Names the people here: his partner Samantha, his girlfriend Samantha, ex-girlfriend now, I'd imagine. Tanisha, her mother, her grandmother Dolette, and the grandmother's husband Denton. They were all stabbed to death by this guy Joshua. The bloodbath took place at Mr. Burke's and Miss Hill's home on Delaford Road, Bermondsey, southeast London. In the early hours of 25th of April last year, Jack Hez had been smoking pot from the age of 12. Like, there you go, he's 12. There's something going on there already at that point. If you're a 12-year-old and you're smoking cannabis, like, there's something amiss, I would imagine. Like, and I mean, no offense to anybody out there, like, but if you're 12 and you're out there smoking weed, like, you're definitely a kid who's been kind of let free range, you know, to be putting it nicely, like, if you will. You know, and that's if you're lucky, if you have your parents at home there letting you free range or whatever, like, because maybe you're potentially a kid who just didn't have your parents there, like, for whatever reasons. But there's obviously something amiss at that point. Like, that straight away to me is something, like, because what else was he doing at that age? If you're 12 and you're smoking weed and stuff like that, come on, what else are you getting your hands on? You really have to wonder. It says in a voice note, she said that to her friend, because she rang her friend several times there. Josh is basically getting to the point where he could basically have an episode like, I don't know what's triggered him. And I'll talk a little bit about that there in a while, but there was obviously something going on there. Like, the guy was obviously having a bit of a fucking a mental break. And was it the cannabis? Like, I would question whether it was even cannabis he was smoking, or consuming. Says after killing the family, Jacques made a FaceTime call to his mother in the locked bathroom and said, "I'm ending it. I'm going to make a sacrifice." Like, so there's the guy who committed the fucking crimes. There's his girlfriend who he'd killed. He was told armed police were at the house and he should come out with his hands on top of. He says Jacques emerged naked and prostrated himself in a praying position, shouting, "Allah, take me, kill me now, get rid of me, and God, please forgive me." I think he definitely wasn't well. He had denied 4 counts of murder, but an Old Bailey jury convicted him on each charge after the trial last December. Jacques had admitted 4 counts of manslaughter on the grounds of diminished responsibility. So there's that part. Mr. Justice Brian handed the killer 4 life sentences with a minimum of 46 years, reduced to 45 and 301 days, including time he has served on remand. Judge told him, "I must sentence you for a horrific catalogue of murders inflicted by you and 3 generations of the same family." He said the crime scene was being rightly described as being like something out of a horror movie, and I can only imagine. So your victims must have experienced very significant pain and shock as they witnessed the events and received the horrific injuries at your hands as they realised what you were doing and what their fate was. Jacques had been hospitalised as in a psychiatric ward in 2018 and diagnosed with bipolar disorder. So there's one issue, and not to say but bipolar disorder, like that's a very complex condition. Like, there's a very wide range there of of seriousness. How a person is affected by it. A person can have bipolar disorder but be only mildly affected by it, like where they can really kind of get through life. The medication that they use is effective and they never have any episodes. But like this guy, they're describing him as a cannabis addict, but he's bipolar. Like, if he's bipolar, he was self-medicating with cannabis. Like, if you look at people who suffer with bipolar disorder, and if you look at the percentage of those who were using cannabis, like, and if you were to ask them and survey them, you would find a high percentage of them would be describe it as self-medicating. Like, I know one particular person out there who I would often show you his fucking fine wares on here. Does a bit of growing locally. And he's diagnosed with bipolar. Might be watching this right now. Shout out to if you are. You know who I'm talking about. But this guy fucking used to be taking all sorts of medication for the bipolar disorder on top of drink. Then fucking I met him, kind of gave him a steady supply of weed at the time, and then he became his own best supplier afterwards, and he was able to pretty much kick the drink, reduce his reliance on some of this other medication. Some of it he can't do without, but cannabis is very much beneficial to him. But he could fucking go on a mad one. Who knows, man? He could have an episode some night, and I could be waking up to some horrific shit the next day. But I would never say that the cannabis was the source of it. I've sat down many nights with this guy and smoked fucking many blunts, bong hits, vapes, edibles. We've got absolutely obliterated together, and I would never feel fucking in danger from the guy. I've never really seen him go violently thing. Definitely witnessed him having a bit of a mad one, alright, a few times, like, but not dangerous. Like, he can be very vivid in his stories, like in his descriptions and shit. Like, it's funny, like, to have a few smokes with this particular guy. Like, he's a legend. But never would he do something as heinous as this. This guy was seriously, obviously, affected on the other end of the spectrum there, on the bipolar disorder. But anyhow, Dr. Nigel Blackwood, a forensic psychiatrist for the prosecution, said the symptoms of manic behaviour displayed were caused by the large amount of cannabis he had consumed. Again, this is a psychiatrist who's probably never really studied cannabis as such, but certainly has been misled by the misinformation that is out there. So therefore, like, that this guy sees cannabis and like sees the behavior, and it's like, oh yeah, these two go together. One leads to the other, which is only because of the reefer madness that this guy is in belief of. There's nothing really out there that say that cannabis and that's its use and alone is going to cause a person to display such behavior, like. But definitely a person like suffering on the serious end of the bipolar spectrum, with bipolar disorder spectrum, fucking, yeah, you would potentially, especially if he was bipolar, he was taking an antipsychotic medication. What role did any of that stuff play? Like, I know my buddy, when he like was on that, and if he drank on that as well, that's when he ran into some serious problems, blackout states, and all sorts of crazy things going on. Cannabis definitely reducing his intake of alcohol, to eliminating it, in fact, has definitely improved his quality of life and reduced the potential of an episode like this occurring because of, maybe a blackout drunk state. What else does it say here? He said that what Jack has experienced was drug-induced mania with psychotic features. Jack had also been taking MDMA, a form of ecstasy, in the days leading up to the killings. But again, MDMA doesn't actually cause a person to do that either. Was he going to hug and kiss him? Obviously, he wasn't under the influence of that at the time. I'm curious as to if he drank. I'm wondering if there's going to be a sentence there around his drinking. I should have read through all of this earlier, but given evidence for the defence, psychiatrist Dr. Amy Deo says Jack Hez was manic and paranoid on a number of issues. He said, my opinion is that the balance and the abnormality of the mental function arising from bipolar disorder would have been a significant factor in the killing. So there you go. Like, even the guy, the psychiatrist doctor here is pretty much saying it, like, but that's excluded then from the headlines. Like, no, cannabis addict kills 3 generations of a family. You get that in the first part, and it's not until you get halfway down here into this article that you actually get somewhat of an open-minded psychiatrist anyway, who kind of sees it for what it is, and it's been like, yeah, this guy's like been seriously affected by his bipolar, and that is playing a much more significant factor in the killings. Maybe this guy was actually a doctor of Jack Hez. Tom Little KC prosecuting had described what police officers found when they entered the property shortly after 2 a.m. The first police, I'm not even going to go through this because I can imagine it's fucking horrific. He was breathing and was unresponsive. Jeez, he went to the kid. Yeah, jeez, man, nah. There's no need to go through this description here of what the cops had seen, like describing the size of the wounds and everything. Oh man, the day I found out they'd been murdered was the worst day of my life. Yeah, the impact is on my life. Yeah, descriptions there is probably ruinous. Could offending claimed there was no premeditation before Jack Hez carried out the murders. Yeah, because he was having a mental break because of his bipolar disorder, I would imagine. Again, circumstantial, just the fact that he was a consumer of cannabis. Why is that the first thing they read in the headline up there? It's mad that they do it, but they do it all the time. So that's the end of it. It says, Mr. Rundez read a note in court in which Jack Hez apologised for what he'd done. He says, I would like to say to the family of the deceased that I am truly and sincerely sorry for all the heartache I have caused them. I am disgusted with myself. I cannot believe that I am the cause of this monstrosity. Jack Hez of his dress admitted 4 counts of manslaughter but denied 4 counts of murder on the grounds of diminished responsibility. Yeah, the guy had a bit of a psychotic break because of his bipolar disorder and maybe a barrage of fucking different drugs going into his body. Who knows? Maybe he was on that Keppra. Sorry, I shouldn't be laughing at that. That's a very serious fucking thing to happen. It's horrible. But again, for them to fucking do what they done. Yeah. First one, cannabis addict. This guy killed like fucking 3 generations of a family, and he opened the headline with cannabis addict. Again, keep in mind, we're on the precipice here of cannabis legalization. Germany just changed their laws around it, and look at the effort that's going on there in the mainstream media to continue the attack there on the cannabis consuming community. And again, I wonder, was this guy screened for alcohol consumption that night? No, there was no talk there about alcohol consumption within that. And again, just from my experience of other people who I've witnessed who take those like different antipsychotic drugs for bipolar, if they drink with them, as I said, they go binky bonky, absolutely completely dissociated from who they are, and yeah, you won't want to be around them on that situation. So there you go. That's a story there from the UK. But then again, the next story that I'm going to go to here is not far off the UK either. This is from above in the north. So a part of the UK. It's the north of Ireland, a bit closer here to home. Yeah, keep man. Yeah, you're getting there. But this news headline that's going to come up next: candy or cannabis? Northern Ireland police sees deceptive edibles in Randallstown. So again, this guy has been a consumer of cannabis the last while. I would wonder, in the last while, did he maybe get caught by some of these contaminated products out there? I know people like. Unfortunately, I know one particular young fellow who started using spice, got a bit addicted to it, and started abusing it. Like didn't want to go back to cannabis. Was like, no, spice was the thing he was going for, and it was still illegal at this stage. Then afterwards, so he was still getting it illegally, and that particular young fella, fucking committed suicide also, unfortunately. But anyway, look, without wanting to get away, I wonder, like, did this guy over there in the UK fall prey to some of this stuff, and get it, and just have a really bad reaction there to some of these synthetic compounds that can be out there, which can be quite powerful, as the potency, of these drugs, could be quite high, as in little can be a lot. Like even cannabis, it's in its own right. Like you take 10, is it 10 milligrams over there in California is considered a personal size dose, a single dose for an individual to start with, 10 milligrams. I know there's people out there now in 10 milligrams, you serious? But that's what they recommend over in places like California. That's what the serving size is, and like up in Canada as well, I believe like a single serving size of some certain edibles has to be like 10 milligrams. Um, but again, these particular compounds, you have 10 milligrams of them, and it could absolutely blow away 10 milligrams of THC. Much like, say, fentanyl and heroin, I would imagine many of you have seen the comparison there of a significant dose of heroin compared to a significant dose of fentanyl. You almost can't see the fentanyl, it's so tiny. And the heroin is like a little couple of specks there, like, but the fentanyl, as I say, you nearly need a microscope to see it. It's crazy. So above there in the north of Ireland, a lot of cannabis edibles seized again. No, not surprisingly, found to contain synthetic cannabinoids, and the biggest, the most vulnerable people out there again are the younger generations, because they would be more susceptible to be buying from unknown sources, as in they're new to the market, unless they're coming into the market, but being led by a more a trustworthy older person, then their potential is they're going to meet the wrong person who's going to just take advantage of them and just sell them absolute shit, because they just want to make some money. The hope is that they get led by maybe somebody's older brother or something like that, and it's like, oh, you want to get some edibles? Well, make sure to come to me and I'll get them feed. That would be a sound older brother. Much like Martin is saying out there, the results of prohibition. Black market has so many problems because of our stupid governments. Chucky Air Law, what's happening? Bonsai Triple X, King B. Oh man, King B. That's what I tried back in the day. King Triple B, I think it was called, wasn't it? Or is that Triple X? No, I think it was King Triple B or something like that. That was there when I got it, and oh man, I never again bought another bag of it after that one bag. No, I didn't try any of the other stuff. I got King Triple B from Inside and Mad, went home, made a joint of it and packed up a bowl of it in the bong, hit the bowl first, and I didn't even smoke the joint afterwards. And I didn't finish the bag up either. That one bowl was enough for me just to say, hell no, man, I love my bud, and this is not what I love. So for me, it was a big no-no. I never forget, for years I actually had that King Triple B underneath my PlayStation 4. Teresa says, yeah, King Triple B was wicked as fuck. Oh, it did. It was enough for me just to say no, no more. That was it. And again, the only reason I tried that, Teresa, and I don't know, maybe it's other people out there will agree and have the same reason, but it was because it was legal. If cannabis and that were in sale inside in Med, I might have bought it and tried it just out of curiosity. Oh, what's this like? This is whatever. But in reality, I probably wouldn't have if cannabis was available alongside it, because other people would have tried that one and said, no, that's dirt, stay away from it, get yourself some good quality cannabis bud. That King Triple B is nasty. Or any of the other fucking spice related shit, you know? But again, our government, they're never going to wake up to this crap. We're going to continue to see stories like this across Ireland and the UK until our government get their act together and regulate the market. People are going to get cannabis edibles regardless. You might as well just make it safe for them to get it. And again, shout out to Marge over there on the Bite Me podcast. Done an interview with her, which is to release there on Paddy's Day, actually. But people like herself there who've got a passion for bacon and cannabis, these are the people you want to be making your edibles. And, you can trust people like Marge. If she was a baker, she wouldn't be selling to kids. She could be trusted. I haven't even really met the lady, but just speaking to her there for a couple of hours in that interview and listening to her on the High and Homegrown podcast. Shout out to Mackie if you're out there. Yeah, fucking, I would. She would be of a trustworthy person, to be getting your cannabis edibles from. That's the point I'm making. People like her should be empowered within our community to take charge, to be financially rewarded for such too. It should be probably not for profit, but they should be able to take a wage. But I would agree with like fucking not being like profit driven as such. Like, but they should definitely be able to make some money, and put it back into the community and make a nice wage there as well to live comfortably. Why shouldn't they be able to live comfortably when they're providing such a needed service there from in the community, from my perspective anyway, and again, from probably yours too. Martin saying they refuse to accept that we don't live in a drug-free world, so this is what you get. Yeah, that's very true. So it says here, imagine a child reaching for a jelly or a sweet only to unknowingly ingest a product infused with cannabis. This is a scenario for a mere hypothetical, far from a mere hypothetical, became to a stark reality over the weekend in Randallstown. In Antrim and Newtown Abbey, district support team made a startling discovery during a routine vehicle stop. The operation uncovered several edibles cunningly disguised to mimic several jellies, sweets. A deceit that has not only baffled authorities, but has also prompted an urgent public health warning. This incident underscores a growing concern, the increasing prevalence of cannabis-infused products on the streets masquerading as innocent treats. In fairness, that they can say they're masquerading as innocent treats, but if I can zoom in here on this image, open image in new tab, boom, and there we go. Like they all medicated sours, medicated nerd ropes. Like it's saying it here. There's a big THC symbol in the corner. Like they're not trying to hide what they are. If you're a kid buying these things, you're paying top dollar for them. You're going to be paying about 20-30 quid there for a pack of these things, I'd imagine, or maybe a bit less, maybe a bit more, depending on how you're getting it off. But they all say it, like, they're all medicated, warning THC. Like, they have the Canadian warnings there, or not the Canadian, the California warnings that they be on these things. So it's not trying to disguise what it is, like the article is indicating. But what it is hiding, and I don't think the article gets into it, is the synthetic side of it. The synthetic edibles, if they were to test these things, what percentage of these products there on the table actually contain THC, and what percentage of them actually contain synthetic cannabinoids, or maybe the semi-synthetic HHC there, which is very prevalent around the place at the moment. But as the article talks about anyway, the community's response and awareness, the revelations of these cannabis-laced sweets in Randallstown has sparked a broader conversation about responsibility, not just among law enforcement and regulatory bodies, but within communities themselves. But the conversation actually isn't with policymakers. It's more about, the raising awareness about the dangers of these products, as they're saying. But they also highlight a pressing need for a comprehensive education on the subject. For parents and guardians, the challenge goes beyond mere vigilance. It involves initiating open and informed discussions with their children about the realities of such substances. Again, reefer madness, man. That's what basically is what they're saying. They want communities to engage in reefer madness, and rat people out to the cops. That's what they're trying to do here. Like they're trying to stir up like a bit of hatred there towards people who might be selling cannabis and stuff within the community, and get people to be snitching on people, going back to the reefer madness. Is in reality, what they should be having a chat about here is how best can we protect the younger generation, and that's come on. If you really have an open and rational conversation about this, you're going to come to the conclusion that it's going to be through regulation. Prohibition has and never will work. And unless you're going to fucking stick one of these Elon Musk's fucking brain links into people and switch off the natural desire there to use these substances like cannabis, because not everybody wants to do it, but for those, it's just because of how you're wired. We're all wired differently. We got an endocannabinoid system, and some people really benefit from supplementing their natural endocannabinoids with cannabinoids from the THC plant, or from the cannabis plant, THC plant, from the cannabis plant. There's people out there talking about certain conditions, that are labelled as X, Y, or Z. But in reality, if you were to really look into it, what potentially these conditions could be are endocannabinoid deficiencies. And when these people, use things like cannabis-based products, they experience relief from the symptoms of their condition. Which, if you were to read into it, yeah, potentially endocannabinoid deficiencies that they're experiencing there. Imagine if these people were to be taking the certain cannabinoids, that they would also experience relief, but the cannabis plant with the cannabinoids, they mimic them just as well. The body responds very well to them. So they potentially have an endocannabinoid deficiency is the condition, and not like, maybe Crohn's disease, some of these autoimmune diseases. Just, But anyhow, in a world where the lines between harmful and harmless can be as thin as the wrapper in a jelly sweet, the incident Randallstown serves as a poignant reminder of the complexity surrounding cannabis-infused products. While authorities continue to navigate the legal and regulatory challenges posed by these edibles, the responsibility falls on everyone: law enforcement, educators, parents, and the public, to foster an environment of safety and awareness. As the landscape of cannabis consumption evolves, so too must our approaches to understanding, regulating, and discussing these potent products. At least they've actually fucking mentioned regulating there. That's something. Expand more on that. Like, come on, as to how maybe regulation could be of benefit. But what's really missing here is what was actually in these products. How potent were they? If they actually contain THC, how did that compare to what was on the label of these products? This would be very good information to be getting out to the public, not just for the adults and stuff like that, but for everybody. The young people who might consider actually consuming these. Which one of them actually has THC in it, and is it what the label is? Give them warning that way. Look, if you do decide to consume these, just know, look, it is potent, but this is the one that has been found to be actually cannabis. Don't leave people in the dark. It's just more dangerous. So yeah, that's pretty much that article there. So yeah, I wonder, did that guy actually get spiked with some of that stuff? Who knows? Who fucking knows? Boom. Oh, let's catch up. Did you hear Teresa says was smoking stuff out of there for a while, couldn't get anything around, had DTs off of that stuff. Yeah, stuff's crazy. Yeah, nice. Boom. Keir Halloran altered. Let's drive on there. So we zoomed in on that photo. The commissioner, Gerda Harris. Yeah, we go back to the commissioner. Because the commissioner, while he'd been talking about like cannabis and psychosis and all of that stuff there, he fails to mention, you know, all these synthetic cannabinoids that they've been finding out there, of which, you know, when we were just talking about those edibles, the Forensic Science Ireland, they released a statement there a couple of months back, maybe a year ago, where they expressed, you know, concern because half of the edibles that they tested contain synthetic cannabinoids and no THC. That's very concerning, you know. And Commissioner Harris doesn't talk about that. But apparently he knows all about how it causes psychosis. But then, you know, look at this headline. This is a funny one. Commissioner, the Gardaí have no idea of the true amount of drugs imported here each week. So there you go. Like, they really have no idea as to how much of any drug is coming in here. And, like, we've had significant seizures over the last while. And, guys, I wonder how many of these seizures were decoy seizures. How many of these seizures were seizures where the Garda involved, or the person involved in whatever operation, was on the, on the take from whatever organised crime gang was bringing stuff in. You know, and he got a bit of a kickback off them, you know, so a bit of a payoff. But not only that, it was just like, right, this ship coming in there, look, that's the one you're going to intercept. That's going to have a nice consignment of whatever their fee. And while you're busy in that there, look, we're going to be in the harbour there unloading the other ships. Ships, you know? So let's not lose sight of, like, how corruptible these guys are. But look, at least they're admitting here they have no idea of the true amount of drugs that are being imported into the country every week. There was a book by, I can't remember his name, but the War on Drugs, I think, was the name of the book. And within that anyway, there was a statement there, a quote, that the guards can only ever hope to intercept about 10% of the drugs coming into this country. So that was an old statement going back from a couple of years ago. But they estimate that nearly 90% of the drugs make it to market. And Ireland is a transit country too, where the drugs it's used as an entry point for Europe. And apparently Australia too, with some of this crystal meth that was there the last day. It's mad to think of, like, you know. But yeah, bring it from South America up this way. You think they'd go the other way. But maybe they're just not watching Ireland as much as a kind of a place where drugs get exported from. But maybe that's going to change now over that last case. But anyhow, we go back to the commissioner here and his statement that, you know, they don't have a clue how much drugs are coming in. They don't have a clue how many of their cops are on the take, you know, taking payoffs there from the likes of the Kinnans, Hutches, and all of those other infamous crime gangs out there. The Sinaloa cartel and all. Or what was the meme that was going around there for a while? The Finaloa, like, taking the piss out of Fine Gael. Very good. There we go. I got that. Drew Harris said cannabis in particular, in terms of the THC content, which is the actual live content of cannabis, is a good deal stronger than it was 20, 30, 40 years ago. So here we go again, like, with the reefer madness kind of lingo. He's going back to what you would see commonly. Yeah, that was where I was looking for. What you would see commonly from people like himself who don't have a clue, so they just go for this reefer madness kind of stuff. Yeah, the cannabis today isn't the cannabis of 20, 30, 40 years ago, because what he's trying to do there, he's trying to relate to people who might have tried cannabis before. I mean, like, yeah, sure, it's just cannabis. It's not that bad, whatever. I tried it and it was fine, but I didn't like it, so I gave it up, whatever. And now he's trying to convince them that cannabis, you know, that you consumed back then, it's not the cannabis of now. And you should be on board with me if I can battle in this, you know. It's basically what they'd be trying to do with this. But come on, we know better. It's just a good cannabis, good strong cannabis, as he's kind of describing it there. It was available back then, but it wasn't as prevalent. You had a lot of fucking, if you were in the States, that Mexican brickweed. If you were here in Ireland, we had soap bar. We didn't even get cannabis here in Ireland. I know we did up above in Dublin and certain fucking lucky places, but down here in Cork, anyway, the real capital, I didn't experience cannabis really until the hash started getting tainted with diesel. That's when I noticed that the cannabis came around. It was probably around a little bit before it started getting tainted as well, but it just wasn't as popular. It was always soap bar, to be fair, because the cannabis, it just wasn't really good, I suppose, really at that time. But anyway, the strength of cannabis, cocaine, and other illegal drugs in circulation has dramatically increased to lethal doses in some cases. The Garda commissioners warned again, scare tactics, starting to scare the crap out of you. Oh, lethal doses. Lethal doses. Yeah, there's lethal doses only when, fucking somebody's heroin contains fentanyl because it's not the drug it's supposed to be. That again is your fault, Commissioner, and enforcing the policies of prohibition. You need to be challenging the policymakers and being kind of like saying, look, come here, it's hopeless. We're never preventing the supply of drugs actually reaching the market. It's better that we control this through regulation, which is what the government's role is. The government's role isn't really to be putting in places these prohibitions on what we can do as such, as long as what we're doing isn't affecting other people directly. As in, I know there's people, I don't like the smell of cannabis. So, do you know what I mean? You mightn't like the smell of my aftershave too. Doesn't mean you can put a prohibition there on my fucking, whatever spray I might be spraying on myself that particular day, like. Get bent, like. Just because you can smell cannabis too, like, doesn't mean it's going to cause you to get high. It's complex, how the compounds travel, but in reality, unless I'm blowing the smoke directly into your face, or we're in a very confined area, you're not going to be getting high if we're walking past each other in the street. Like, even if I blow it left and you're on my right side, there's no way. You might smell it. You might smell it as you walk past. You're not getting high from that. Like, stop. But anyhow, Joe Harris has admitted that the Gardaí have no idea the true amount of drugs that are being imported into the country each week, but said there are more illegal substances in circulation. And Mr. Harris said Ireland, as a wealthy country, is seen as a target for drug cartels. We are seen to these organised crime groups as a wealthy country, as an affluent place, and that is shown even in terms of the cocaine use and that there is in Ireland. Cocaine use is proportionate to the prosperity of a nation, and therefore we are a target. A target. Come on, boy. We it's not that we are a target, it's just that there's a high demand here for it. Like, come on, but wake up, get real. We're not being targeted. We're looking for it. So that's one of the principal challenges. No, the principal challenge is that you're trying to prevent people doing what they want to do. Like, come on, like, if a person wants to fucking eat more cheeseburgers than their body is able to tolerate, like, it's not your place to get out there and pull that person out of McDonald's, like, it's not. Likewise, like, if a person wants to fucking take a lethal amount of cocaine, like, as long as that you've made the effort there to educate that person, it's like, people drink themselves to death. We have no prohibition of drink there. We wouldn't dream of putting a prohibition of drink in. Look what happened when that was done already in the past over in the States. We are a target because we are a state where drugs are prohibited. If we were a state where drugs were regulated, then they wouldn't be interested in coming here, because if we done it right, there wouldn't be money in it from you take the money out of it and then they no longer have interest in it, Sorry, going a few rants there as we read through this. Speaking at a cross-border police conference in Kevin, Mr. Harris said, I would say around drugs generally, they're becoming more prevalent and stronger as well. So cannabis in particular, in terms of the THC content, which is the actual live active, is a good deal stronger than it was 20, 30 years ago, 40 years ago even. Mr. Harris said that this is driving addictive behaviour, psychotic incidents and mental health problems. Look, he thinks he's a doctor, man. He's medically qualified. But meanwhile, when it comes to the justice system and actually knowing how much drugs are making it to market, he doesn't have a clue. He doesn't want to admit their massive failure. He doesn't want to say publicly, look, we estimate that 90% of drugs make it to market. It's like, and then just ignore any questions that come their way because they don't want to be questioned on that. They're like, come here, do you not think that you're failing miserably? So, like, in like 50, 60 years of trying to enforce this prohibition here in Ireland, you can prevent no better than 10% of the drugs actually reaching the market. Stop. Yeah, I'd be making up all sorts of crazy lies too if I was in that position, Mr. Harris. People are taking substances with no idea how it's been produced or to what strength, and there are real dangers. Yes, I agree with you, man. So regulate the stuff, like. Seriously, like your position is creating this making this statement possible. Without you and your prohibition that you're enforcing, Mr. Harris, that statement would not be possible. Because if a person was able to walk into the local fucking chemist and buy a personal amount of cocaine for their own use, let's say, or walk into the local cannabis dispensary, they're going to be able to trust that what's they're getting there is after being produced to regulations, to standards, like, SOPs, GMP, all of that quality assurance. Obviously, the cannabis, what good agricultural GAP. That's what you want to be able to have your product produced under. Prohibition. This is what you get. People taking substance from no idea it's being produced or what strength and what it is. Or even if it is what it's supposed to be. As I said, people who take fucking heroin end up getting stuck with fentanyl. People sniffing a bit of cocaine could get caught with some fentanyl. People taking some ecstasy could get caught with some fentanyl. There's so many drugs there, like, and I'm not adding to the fear-mongering that's out there, but unfortunately there is a lot of fucking potential drugs out there which fentanyl could end up in, not because a person is trying to cut it with it, it's because they're mishandling the drugs at the production side of it. A person who might be dealing, let's say, fucking, or making some ecstasy pills, they might also have some fentanyl there that they're handling, and maybe a little bit just ends up in fucking the mix. And that means one or two pills are going to come out with maybe a little bit of fentanyl that shouldn't be there, unfortunately, because of mishandling and no standards, no quality assurance. Mr. Harris, this is your fault. And all of the other prohibitionist policy enforcers and all of that out there. Ah. He said that recent testings at events, including electric picnic festivals, showed a real huge variation in strengths of drugs to the point of lethal doses. The Commissioner admitted it is nearly impossible to estimate the quantity of drugs being shipped into the country, but referenced a number of recent high-profile seizures. Of course he will. He'll reference the seizures to take credit, but he'll never really give you that other figure as to what they think has made it to market here. The MV Matthew was seized in September carrying 2.2 tons of cocaine, with a value of 157 million, but which may have a street value of some 500 million. We know that the price of the cocaine is on the increase in terms of its street value has increased maybe over 25% in the last 3 to 4 months. That shows the value of the work happening on the island of Ireland. He said, adding to that, we've been making huge seizures. Again, guys, when you're pissing in the wind, you know what I mean, and thinking, oh yeah, it's decent, fucking take a big piss there, like, but it's fucking blowing back on you, lads. Come on, you can't even tell us how much you're actually not stopping. What's your estimate there? You won't even give an estimate. But you'll talk about huge seizures. We're doing a great work, and we have to keep up this work because look at our successes. Keep funding us, like, yeah. The Commissioner added the main dealers are focused on a full array of drugs, from cannabis right through to cocaine, down into heroin and now into synthetic opioids. And that list is going to continue to grow too with these new synthetics coming to the market. He said the social media, WhatsApp, are now being used to distribute and sell drugs. Yeah, well, lad, come here, you're far behind anyway. WhatsApp isn't really a popular one anymore. Not going to tell you that one, let you do that work yourself, dude. But there's many more fucking messaging apps out there now being used, and WhatsApp is certainly a bit of an outdated one, really. And that's where that ends then. So there you go, Drew Harris up there talking out through his arse, trying to scare people. Again, I gave you a couple of scenarios there potentially where fentanyl could end up in a product, and the importance then needed for regulation of drugs. All drugs. Because who we discriminate, say if you're a cannabis consumer and you think, oh, only cannabis should be legalised and regulated, but not heroin, not cocaine. Guys, you really need to take a look at the mirror and just kind of ask yourself, like, am I any better than these prohibitionists who are doing exactly what you're doing to these other drug users? By doing it yourself to these other drug users, it's just not right. So no drug should be illegal. All drug users should be afforded the opportunity to quality assured supply of their drugs. Not, it doesn't have to be for free. Maybe if, again, we have methadone programs and stuff like that, maybe you can come up with a heroin assisted therapies for people, where they work to kind of come off it or something along those lines. But again, if you're a functional heroin consumer like the likes of Carl Hart, Carl Hart should be able to go down to a chemist and, hey, I'd like to get a little bit of heroin. The diacetylmorphine isn't it the term we were saying there earlier? Um, and I'd like to be able to, go home and use that safely and sensibly because, I'm an educated drug consumer. I know about my drug of choice. Why shouldn't Carl Hart be? And if you don't agree with him, I would love to hear your argument, as to why he shouldn't be able to go do that. Because he argues that he should be. So, excuse me. Just noticed that my bowl was needing emptying. We'll get this emptied there. So there we go. There's the commissioner admitting that they don't have a clue as to how much drugs that they're not stopping reaching the market and transition through Ireland on into Europe and the UK. He talks there about Ireland being a wealthy place, really, but to be fair, yeah, it's wealthy, but there's just a growing demand there for cocaine. I don't have a craving for it myself. I've tried it, enjoyed it, but it's certainly not a drug for me anyway. Maybe if it was available in a tea or like a chew, do you know how it's used traditionally? I would try that and see how that would go. And if it's not, if you don't have the same shit feeling as kind of after snorting it, because to be fair, snorting it's fucking feels shit in your nose, doesn't it, man? I didn't like it anyway myself. I was always drunk as well when I done cocaine, so that would be something different too. If you were going to be doing it like as a chew or something like that, you wouldn't need to be drunk to do it, in my experience, or in my perspective. Yeah, Rashers, man, you're right. In fairness, since November they did get some massive seizures, which is affecting the market. A lot of contaminated shit flower around now. That's true, and there's a lot of people out there using this as well as an opportunity to up their prices. I know a few people who are like just sitting on some weed. Not this guy, Danke Shannon. Shout out to Danke Shannon. There's his little yucky there. If you want to give him an ad around, he's around Cork, Fermoy, and all those kind of places. But there's other people out there, they're just sitting on stuff and they're throwing up the prices, calling it something that it's not. Next, it's fucking, you're getting some mids and they're calling it Cali, charging you £100 for 3.5 grams. I'm seeing a bit of that happening, alright, hearing about it, a bit of that happening. And it's to be expected too. That's all they're doing. That's all they ever do, really, with these big seizures. Give somebody his fucking no gooders, no sheds, an excuse just to rip people off even further. But there's another article here. A man in his 30s arrested as cannabis worth 612,000 seized above in Dublin Airport. So there we go. There's another headline for you. Oh, boom, pop over to here actually. Man arrested after the significant amount of cannabis as well. You're talking about 612,000. That's over 30 kilos. 30.6 kilos there to be exact, based on what they weighed anyway. The man was found in possession of 30.6 kilos of cannabis concealed within vacuum-packed packages. And we're going to be seeing loads more of this, guys, While they were busy with this guy, how many other people were getting off maybe that same bloody flight with a suitcase full? You just don't know. And maybe he was going to be the fall guy. Like that, there was 10 people on the plane. One of them was going to be the fall guy. None of them knew of the other ones. Or maybe the 9 who weren't going to be the fall guys all knew each other. And next, this other guy was just there and didn't know about the other 9. Who knows? But the fall guy there potentially could have been the guy going through with his 30 kilos of like mids, the shit fucking weed or something like that. And next, the other guys are going through with the good proper stuff as well. It could be even good proper stuff with the fall guys, just so that they can make sure that he doesn't suspect anything. Me looking at the shit weed, he's like, why the fuck are you go and pay me this to import this shit? So maybe it was good quality stuff, who knows? But the cannabis was discovered concealed within the vacuum packages in the baggage of a passenger who had disembarked a flight from Thailand. So there we go as well. Thailand now becoming a more commonplace coming up here, where cannabis is being intercepted, being imported from. Again, like there's something, it reinforces something I said before here on the show, where places where cannabis prohibition is ended and it's like regulated, production is regulated and stuff, you're going to have organised crime gangs going over there and maybe buying cannabis from the legal market, but more potentially actually setting up illegal grows, unregulated grows maybe, because the punishment in these places is going to be less because it's regulated now. It's seen as being legal, and therefore like it's maybe just a fine or something like that for acting outside of the regulations that are in place. Um, but prohibition then in our country, it creates a problem over there where they've ended it in places like now soon to be Germany. I'd imagine we might see in places like Malta. I'd imagine if we haven't been seeing it, I think I've seen it a few times already. Spain. You see cannabis coming from places where they've kind of reduced their laws. So that means criminals are moving in there and they're now setting up operations to export out of there, creating dangers within those countries for the citizens of those countries, and it's wrong. And it's wrong. And it's I know how prohibitionists, they blame drug users for, us supporting organised crime gangs and the bloodshed that supports and creates and blah, 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 blah. Prohibitionists, guys, you have to own up and take responsibility for the problems your policies make for places like that, for places like even Colombia, where I think it has Colombia have decriminalised and stuff over there, but still, or the illegal nature of it here creates such a problem over there for them with the cartels and all of that stuff, and that's because of your prohibition. This mad notion or desire to want to prevent people from using a drug. It's like, why? Come on. For the Commissioner Michael O'Sullivan, this guy's been in the media a bit lately, hasn't he? He told the Irish Mirror that Ireland is targeted as a shipping destination for the transfer of drugs within Europe. Like this guy was a cop back in the beat, like in the day when the Kinnahans were at large. Like he would have been there when Daddy Kinahan, is a Christy Kinnahan, when he would have been running the family business. And Michael was up there, I believe, in his neck of the woods as well. I would wonder how close these two actually maybe are. And I've said this in the past as well, hinted at a potential, link there. Was Christy giving Michael a couple of tip-offs, a couple of tips there. Get this fella there, get that fella there. And Michael's out. Nice one, Christy kid. Goes out and busts, the competition. And that's why the fucking Kinahans are so successful. And Michael himself is a successful fucker today. You know what I mean? He was over there running MOAP. Is that what it was? The Marine Operation Analysis Centre? MOAC. MOAC. Marine Operation Analysis Centre. These guys got massive budgets from the likes of Europe and the different countries there to fight the import of drugs, because they set up operations over there in Portugal, funny enough. Shout out to Casa de Strugas, told me a little bit about it. Apparently it's just around the corner from a place where skateboarders go skating, and they're it's quite common for them to be over there smoking a bit of weed as well, and there's no problems. Like, they rarely get interfered with. Like, maybe a cop comes over every now and again and gives them a bit of a talking to, but Casa was saying, like, when he was there anyway, there was definitely a smell of cannabis in the air. But this guy, Michael O'Sullivan, man, seriously, he was at the Citizens Assembly as well, really making fighting for his bread and butter. Like that's what this prohibition is for this guy, like his bread and butter. And I suppose for his buddies as well, Christy and his sons now. He claims that half of the cocaine in Northern Europe is shipped through Irish-controlled waters. So, and Ireland is more vulnerable than it was a couple of years ago because our navy has been badly weakened. And they're the navy badly weakened. I would agree our navy should be strong, but they shouldn't be wasting their time trying to prevent the import of drugs. To be fair, if we really want to reduce the amount of drugs illegally imported into the country, you take the money out of it, man. And shout out to Vincent Lavery there, because that was the guy who really opened my eyes to that kind of concept. Take the money out of it, and then the criminals will just go away to other things that are going to be profitable for them. Because quite often or not, the people you don't want in the market, the criminals, they're only interested in money. You take the money out of it, you make it that a person can make a decent living, but they're not going to be going around with flashy fucking, watches and big, what are those Canada Goose jackets and all of that fancy crap. Just make it that a person can make a decent living on it, put a roof over their head, live comfortably, afford maybe a holiday, a year or something like that, to be able to treat the family and things like that. It's like a decent living, comfortable living, for a little bit of a saving there as well, a nest egg to leave for your kids and what have you. But nothing extravagant. You don't want to be like kind of as they are now at the moment. They're living extravagantly. You see the lives there of some of the gang dudes out there, like, even they do exposés there on the media, devising like fucking, the best of lots, the best of, like, just, insert whatever you desire there. Mad. 7 minute warning there, guys. 4:20 coming up. A few different places. So we jump back there. Well, hey, you're live. Missed your shows, but hope all the family are well. Nice one, Market. Just pop that off the screen. Boom. So who's out there? What's been going on over on the live stream? Rashers, well called, Martin. Nice one, Rashers, kid. Rashers, stop growing mids then. No, Roving reporter. I've experienced some of Rashers' fine work. If he had mids there, man, he kept that jar hidden. Because I only got primo. Shouting about what's happening. Anyone else out there? Roving reporter, definitely dodgy fuckers. Alright. Let's drive on. I believe I have one more. Yes, one more article here, I do believe. Yeah, and unfortunately, it's another significant cannabis seizure that was made within Ireland. €1 million worth of cannabis seized by revenue with the help of drug detector dogs in Dublin and Louth. Shout out there again to our buddies in the audience. Are you still out there? Mr. Fields with Loki, Poppy, Sonny. Did I miss anybody? I think there's one more. I'm not seeing it up here on the old fucking chat, but anyhow, shout out to Dogs Against Drug Prohibition, or Cannabis Prohibition, and hashtag Free Drug Dog Bailey. And these ones too, hashtag Free Drug Dog James, and hashtag Free Drug Dog Milo. Get that trending there, guys. It says a woman in her 40s was arrested at Dublin Airport yesterday after cannabis, and this article was up on the 28th of February, guys, so a few days ago. That was on Wednesday, so this would have been Tuesday that this seizure was actually made. Today is Saturday. It says the cannabis was found concealed, again, similar to the last story there that we talked about, vacuum packed in a suitcase. Rolled as brass, did you know? But the seizure was made, as they say here, based on risk profiling. You wonder. So, was it a tip-off? And was there other people carrying through different looking suitcases, and they weren't as risky as hers, because they were only tipped off about hers. It says the woman was since charged and appeared before the courts this morning. She had 11 kilos of herbal cannabis with an estimated street value of 224,000. So significant seizure made there, but again, how much actually got through. Separately, some 45 kilos of herbal cannabis worth massive €900,000 seized by revenue officers with the assistance of detector dogs yesterday. Dogs James and Milo again. Jeez, they're really working these dogs overtime, aren't they? Up and down the country. The officers made the discovery of illicit drugs and parcels originating from Spain, again, where they've reduced the laws around cannabis a bit, while examining packages at a premises in Dublin. These packages were destined for addresses in Kildare and Dublin, and another separate operation yesterday, officers seized 144 kilos of roll-your-own tobacco during a search of a premises in Louth with the assistance of detector dog Toby. And get this, guys, this is another reinforcer of something I only just talked about there, because you take the money out of drugs and the criminals have no interest in it. You look at these drugs, okay, and the illegal importation, they're coming in from, they were probably coming in from places where the duty is a bit less, Spain, Turkey, wherever. Why? Because they're cheaper to buy there than they are here. These weren't illegally produced, I would imagine. They were probably bought, duty paid over in the other country, maybe, or maybe bought in a duty free or something like that, um, and then exported out of that country illegally and brought in here where they can make massive profits. Why can they make massive profits? Because our government, for health reasons, have put like nearly it's over 70% of the price of a packet of tobacco is tax for health reasons. And really, all they're doing is just that they're lining their pockets. One, it's a nice form of income for the government. It's for health reasons to encourage people to quit. But I know my mother, like man, she as much as the price of cannabis, as much as the price of tobacco went up, she never like considered actually giving up. Like, 'cause she was never really broke because of it. It just hurt her pocket a little bit more, like, but she was willing to take it. At least it wasn't illegal for her thing. Like, maybe that might have changed her mind a bit. Like, but potentially not. The government would never have made it illegal either. But by making over 70% of the price of the packet tobacco tax, criminals now have an opportunity to import it as they are, and they're making a killing on it. They really are making a killing on it. Because I know people, just genuine people, who go on holidays, and there'll be a certain person who'll be in touch with them. They'll be straight on to them. Oh, such and such is going over there. And it's like, oh yeah, they don't smoke at all, do they? No, no, sweet. I'll get on to them and get them to bring back their allowance of tobacco. And they'll do that to a couple of people, and then they'll be selling it off then as well, like, making back their money, and buying more then as well. The same person then who does that, like if they travel themselves, they don't mind, sneaking in a couple of extra packs too. But the people who get the arrival of these, then they'll get his number. They'll ring him up. Just got a arrival there of a load of tobacco. How many packs do you want? And he'd be like, as many as you have. And then same fucker will look down his nose on a drug dealer selling cannabis, even, like, it's funny. It's funny. But again, you take the money out of it, this guy goes away. If you go back to the old days when you could go out and buy a 10 box of fags, and it was like £3 or €3, was it, or something like that? Yeah. Well, anyhow, my mum actually switched from tobacco now and is vaping mostly, but still uses nicotine. The illicit tobacco has an estimated retail value of 118,000 and represents a potential loss to the exchequer of approximately 89,000. So there you go. Look, over 70% of the price of the tobacco there is tax. Investigations into all of these seizures are ongoing. A revenue spokesperson says the seizures are a part of Revenue's ongoing operations targeting the importation of illegal drugs and the sale of illegal tobacco products. If businesses or members of the public have to want a rat, there's the rat hotline there. Squeak, squeak. So there you go, guys. There are big seizures, to be fair. But again, what's getting through? How big is what's getting through? Because, what they're shining the light on is, one thing, but what are you missing? What's going, over there in the shadows? And what's going on over there in the shadows is a lot greater than what they're shining the light on. Just keep that in mind. Taxes, theft. Fucking government says the roving reporter. Keith says madness. It is effing. It's a flower. Yeah, I agree with you, Keith, man. I really do agree with you, dude. It is typical madness. I really spend millions on this. If we use the example again, fucking beating it now like a, whatever. But kids out there waiting on lists for appointments with health professionals, different kind of consultants, and they're waiting 3-4 years. Other kids out there waiting on surgeries, and having to maybe travel to other countries to get a certain surgery, after years of waiting for it, and maybe getting some of the money back afterwards, but paying for it out of their own pocket. Some crazy stuff going on. We pay millions to try to prevent people from using cannabis, from like even potentially using the coca plant in a more harm reductive way. Why can't we do this? And maybe make a little bit of income there for the state to put back into health and education. It's working out quite well in places like Colorado. I know a Roving Reporter says tax is theft, but at the same time, tax does give us things like our roads and our sanitation and things like that. As in sanitation, as in our running water and stuff. That gets paid for by tax. Fuck Irish water though. That is theft. Pay for my water through my taxes already. Cue the arguments now and the thing. Hopefully everybody out there agrees, just pay for your water through general taxation and that we don't need this fucking added tax on our water. It's just, that's madness. But again, we don't need to go down that road if it's going to cause division. Right, that is it, guys. Yes, that is it. We missed 420, but it's 27 minutes to the next 420. This is the hour where it happens twice in the 1 hour. I do have a ball packed down here, and it was packed for the last 420 from 3 minutes ago. So I apologise to people in those places. That was 423 minutes ago, but here's a little civil disobedience witchy for year 420. Roman Reporter says, I would be happy to pay if spent well, but exactly, man, that's the massive problem. I 100% agree with you there as well, Roman Reporter, man. You see how the government spend their taxes, like, for one example, fucking criminalising us, making criminals of us for using cannabis, for being cannabis consumers. That is one waste of taxes. Again, while we have kids out there waiting years for surgeries, for debilitating conditions like scoliosis. Shocking and sad. Teresa says they love to tax us out of it. Look at the new bottle recycling scheme. Oh man, you got me there now, Teresa. Like that's one that I would really I'd rant until the next 420 about that thing. Like that, I haven't even used it yet. I've got the bottle here, and you know what's going on at the moment now? It's like these bottles are just building up around the counter, and eventually I've thrown a few of them already into the recycling. But now, like, the Smalley Alexis is just like, oh yeah, you're not really wanting to bring them over. I'll bring them over for you there, like, because to be fair, like, if I'm going to the shop, like, I'm not thinking, oh yeah, I get my recycling and bring it to the shop. I never brought my recycling to the shop. That's madness, madness. And now I've got this fucking added tax on my thing because that's what it's become now, a tax, because I don't really return these bottles. Stupid, like, it's so stupid, and all because of, right, get this. The recycling companies aren't really recycling the recycling. They're burning it for energy, apparently. A majority of the recycling that we put into our bin, the blue bin, yeah, for us anyway, recycling bin, it ends up getting burned. It's bad, it's stupid. I don't think they should have ever been privatised. I think we should have kept them like a public service as such. Everybody needs a bin. And we like just continue to pay for it through our taxes or of some sort, Turn into private companies, man. It's just the amount of fucking fly tipping that happened after they made that transition down here in Cork anyway. Ooh, we had a long lane out here by us, just out the back road. And I used to always go out there with the dogs for a walk and a quick hunt of the rabbits through the field. But you go out there, like, and there'd just be black bags, and you walk across and there'd be rats scattering everywhere out of the bags, and it became known as Rat Lane then afterwards, because of people fly tipping out there, all because of when they made that transition. That's when it really it became prevalent out that way. But again, let's not get ranty on all of that stuff. Vote for me and we'll sort it out. Teresa, come down there, move to Cork there, so we can add a few more votes to the campaign for Martin. Oh, lordy. Man, look at that bush trying to escape from underneath that hat. Martin will be in there for a shave soon. Hot towel shave and a bazar. It's an EU directive. EU cunts. Everybody wants out now. Yeah, fair enough if it's an EU directive, but it definitely needs to be implemented in a different way. We're already paying tax on these products. It's not much of an incentive to go and get back your money. You know what I mean? It should be like, if they want to, like, give us back money for going to the shop and doing it, it shouldn't be money we pay extra onto that product after the fact. Things like water, water is taxed, isn't it? You pay VAT on water, isn't it? Because they regard water as a luxury, because water comes from our tap, because we pay for our water through general taxation, guys, remember? So water from a bottle, I believe, is regarded as a luxury in Ireland. So it's added, has value added tax. I'm open to correction on that, but I do believe that you pay tax on water. I think I know this because when I go to Musgraves Cash and Carry, it's one of the valuable products. Legend Teresa. Yeah, I know I could count the Newgard. All right, blaze this one up anyway with anybody out there ready. I'm waiting. So you know you really need a shave is when you go to hit the bong and your whiskers start tickling your nose. No, I know how Karina feels. Yeah, Teresa, I'm hearing there's all sorts of mayhem out there, right? Barcodes not working and people not being able to get their money back and stuff. Places still charging for it when there's like a 4 week cooling off period, exemption period, or something like that. Yeah, typical fucking Irish government, man. Especially the Green Party is what me think about it. Like I've come. I'm looking at these machines there in the shop for months. Months they have them over there in the local shopping centre, like or the local yeah supermarket, and they just like all of a sudden it's like right they're going there you go guys you can start using them there. The product's going to start having the barcodes very soon. But there was very little explanation, like and it's just like, fella, you were just thrown into it all of a sudden, and then it was only through like the radio you were kind of getting some sort of an explanation when people were coming on and sharing their experiences with them. It was we just kind of had to learn it as we went ourselves. We weren't really being taught it as such. Boom. Robin Porter said water and electric should be free to households. Mm. I would love a free electric to my household, definitely, because that's definitely a big barrier there to being able to grow your own, isn't it? Or at least going with some mad wattage lights. 1000 mAh HPS supplemented with CO2 or LED, sorry, supplement with CO2. Heaters. Coolers, humidifiers, the whole lot going, everything running in sync with controller. Imagine. Yeah. Bobby O'Brien, the fuck, I didn't know you were back at it. Oh, sorry, Bobby. Shit, did I not bang into the telegram there earlier that we were back at it? Apologies, my man. My bad. Shit. Thought you might have got a notification. Screw you, YouTube, for not notifying Bobby that I was back live. Everybody who subscribes to Martin's World should be getting a notification that, hey, the guy's live. Unless they've, like, quieted me, muted my notification. Why ain't they getting a notification? Anyway, welcome, Bobby. We're done now, Bobby, though. In fairness, we were just kind of having a blaze, a chat. The guys were talking about the recycling scheme here. But other than that, yeah, we've gone through all of the news there. Covered some madness there with accusations that cannabis led to a guy who suffers with bipolar, murdering 3 generations of his girlfriend's family. And then we talked then at the next story was how, cannabis edibles are becoming more prevalent out there, and really just hammered home how that guy who in the last story did he get his hands on some of that nasty contaminated cannabis edible stuff out there. Then our guards admitted that they don't have a clue how many what drugs are actually making it in Ireland. They only know what seizures they make, but they don't know what percentage are making it through. They admit, that they're completely in the dark on that, and they didn't want to make any estimation as to what was making it through. So that was kind of the point I was hammering home there. They really didn't want to be criticised for their failure because there was a book that was published here in Ireland by somebody might enlighten me as to who that was. I think Paul is the name of the author that's coming to mind. Can't think Paul what though. I think he's passed away since. But I think that the book was called The Drug War, and it was like all centered around Ireland. But in that, the guards a quote that's saying that like 90% of drugs make it to market. They can only ever hope to prevent the 10% of the drugs making it to market. So that was the gist of that thing. Commissioner then also kind of highlighting that Ireland's targeted because we're a wealthy place by the cocaine dealers. But we're not. There's people here who are just hungry for the cocaine because, you know, we're a drinking nation as well. And drink and coke tend to go hand in hand as well with some people. There was good news in the first part of the show, Keith. There was some positive studies there around cannabis, particularly around CBD, but THC was included in that, and it was actually shown included there to be beneficial as well. So that was definitely a positive in the first part of the show. Definitely not in the second part, though, unfortunately. Unfortunately. Hot damn, we're rolling into 8 o'clock here in Ireland. Now 8:05. Woo. and for a late one tonight. That was kind of pretty much it then. Yeah. So there we go, just closing off some of these tabs. Bring us back down. There we go, guys. Is 15 minutes to the next 420. What's everybody doing for the rest of their Saturday night? Anybody got something crazy or exciting planned? People just going to stay in, blaze a couple. My plan there now, hopefully, if herself doesn't fall asleep with the kids and not get back up, will be maybe to throw on a bit of Tommy Tiernan. I think I seen there was a new Tommy Tiernan special released there recently. If people are looking for suggestions of something to watch, actually as well, over on Amazon Prime there was last one laughing. Yeah, I think that's what it was called. Just quickly, I'm no Jamie here, man. My typing on the keyboard is so fucking bad. This one, boom, that should be up on screen there, a screen for you there now. One load, boom. This 10 of who are considered to be Ireland's 10 most sought after comedy stars. They're all brought into a kind of a Big Brother style house, where for over the course of 6 hours they have to attempt to make each other laugh while not laughing or smiling themselves. So it's not just laughing, even just a smile, a smirk. They're quite strict about it. It's I would definitely recommend, you know, if you're going to be looking for something to watch there later on this evening after a bowl or two, after maybe a couple of edibles. This one had me in knots, in fairness, like, because I don't know, it was just something about, you know, them trying not to laugh and making each other laugh. It was brilliant. I loved it. I really enjoyed it. And herself then was just laughing at me laughing at this. So that's my suggestion for people if you're looking for something on the TV. Last one laughing, Ireland. That is over on Amazon Prime. That's where you'll find that. Yes. I was just thinking of some of the bits in it there. It was hilarious. Uh yeah, I'm looking forward to Tommy Tiernan now, man. Yes, that joke he done about the traveller there, the was it the ginger, ginger cross-eyed traveller, and he was going on for Damien Duff. Oh, mama, give me boots. I'm going on for the duffer. Oh yes, love Tommy Tiernan as well. Man Falls, what's happening? Man Falls, we're pretty much just saying Slán. We're saying our goodbyes. I was just asking what are people up there for the rest of the weekend. If you got anything to input there, man, throw it in. I might pack up one more bowl there. It's 15 minutes to the next 420, but I don't think I'll be sticking around that long, depending on how the conversation here with you goes. Time is away getting away on us as we're conversing here. Roving reporter saying Rasher said he was going to dance his socks, dancing his socks for a bit in front of the window. Oh, up Dublin City are in for a treat so tonight. Man Falls doing duck all. Man Falls, as I was saying there, look, if you got the Amazon or if you've got access to some illegal streaming services, laugh out loud. There you go. Last one laughing. LOL. That's the thing, but it's last one laughing Ireland. That's my recommendation there. If you didn't catch that earlier, hit rewind there and you can get my explanation and my description of it again. But I highly recommend that there if you're doing duck all. Chilling out though. There you go. Nice. Teresa says, bit early heading to the Vote No No rally tomorrow in the Big Smoke. Yeah, that's something actually, guys. Yeah, hashtag Vote No No. I'm definitely on that bandwagon as well. The government here currently want us all to vote yes on that. Yes, yes. But I'm saying no. I don't trust the government. I don't like the changes that they're trying to make. If there's anybody out there in the audience who support the yes side, I'll be very open to hearing why it is that you will be voting yes. And I don't want anybody to really berate anybody, respect people's positions, but open, peaceful, respectable debate there if it happens to occur. But I would imagine most people there in the audience will probably know. So, Martin, what's happening? It says, stay and have a few. God bless Martin. Good man, good man. How did that run go, Martin? Did you get out for that run? Yeah. Hopefully it went well. I'm hoping to get back into it. Guys, I'll throw this out there while I'm on with you. Anybody interested in entering the Cork City Marathon? If you want to enter it and do the entire marathon, or I wonder, would there be interest there for people in doing a relay, a team run, so you take sections of the marathon? I'm going to run the entire thing myself anyway, but I'd be more than happy as well if there was a couple of relay teams or a couple of other individuals who would be more than happy to run the whole thing as well. My aim is to run it in 4 hours and 20 minutes. So the plan is to put in a pace that would see us finish the race in 4 hours and hopefully get there with a couple of minutes to spare if we just fall short of that. The plan then would be to kind of take a little bit of a rest just before the finish line, and then time it and finish it together, all of us are in the 4:20 mark. Various seconds, it might take us a couple of seconds to get over, but the important thing is we'll finish it in 4 hours and 20 minutes. That's the aim, and then, afterwards we make a bit of a statement, maybe a bit of civil disobedience or something along those lines. I don't know. Look, the link to the hot box is there in the description anyway for anybody who's, that tickles their fancy, who's like, yeah, that sounds interesting, I definitely would go running. You can dress up for it as well if you want to get fancy. Rasher says he'll do the women's mini marathon. But there's a but there. What's the but? Come on, the suspense is killing me, Rasher. But it's the Dublin women's mini marathon, isn't it? Go on, say it. Get down here to Cork it. To do a Cork women's mini marathon as well. That's very good. You're a good runner, Martin. Nice one, Martin. Legend. Yeah, that's the plan anyway. As I say, guys, I'm going to enter the marathon, and I'm hoping to be able to run it in the 4 hours, make it to the finish line, but not cross it until 4:20. And hopefully, if possible at all, to have a couple of us there to do it as well. And for us all to make a bit of a statement, either verbally or demonstratively. If you get my drift. But there you go. I'll be very interested as to how many people might actually step up to that for the Cork City Marathon anyway. They do have the Cork City Women's Mini Marathon as well. I know lads quite often running that, but get dressed up then as a woman and stuff. I'll be open to do that as well. Maybe Amy, shout out to Amy. Maybe Amy wants to come down and do that. That's a shorter race as well. I think it's a 10k, isn't it? A mini marathon. And we could do it maybe for raise awareness there. Endometriosis, cannabis. Shout out to Amy. Endo with Amy over there on Insta. That's just an idea anyway. Maybe that's the butt coming from Rashers. Rasher still hasn't given me his butt. That sounded wrong, but come on, Rashers, finish that sentence. Or maybe you did and it's just not coming through here on this fucking Streamlabs. Where's Rasher's gone? Oh, yeah, it's still there. No, Rasher's finished it. Raven Reporter says 2 people, 1 wheelchair, take turns pushing each other. Ah, Raven Reporter, legend. Can you do that? a 2-man relay team. I wonder that'd be funny, but raise awareness then for some sort of wheelchair related condition there maybe or something along those lines. Fucking testicle cancer. Can't raise enough awareness there about fucking testicle cancer. um, but his mini skirt is in no wash. Oh, Roving Reporter, man, you're cracking me up here, lad. All right, guys, I'm going to be going in there shortly with the intentions of watching some comedy. I'm going to put some more of this bubble, this lovely bubble. It's getting smaller here. Like, oh, it's heartbreaking to see it get smaller, but it's so enjoyable to make it get smaller. So I'm going to enjoy a bit of this bubble with a bit of this herb, and we're going to enjoy Tommy Tiernan then afterwards. Keep your comments in the hot box. Comment there though. If you want to say goodbye, but I'm packing a ball. I ain't ready to say goodbye just yet. Oh, yes. Nice. Martin says, come as a running giant. Yeah, I'm thinking just like, I know when I go to court and things like that, I could be definitely over the top OTT about it, but I think a simple T-shirt with some facts on it, you know, so it's just the right statement. That's what I'm thinking of. So I'll be open to people's suggestions. Again, link in the description there, guys, to the 24/7 hotbox. And if you've got some good statements there, if you want to get your comments in there now while we're still on air, throw them on in there. If you're watching this afterwards, comment away in the comment section. But a good statement to include on the back and a front of a T-shirt while running, you know, because there's going to be a lot of people there, and you're going to have to wear a number. I know that. But definitely some sort of a statement that you could have included there on your T-shirt. Rasher says, autocorrect just putting words in me mouth. I don't know. Suspense was killing me, Rasher. Rasher says, no one, but just how you saw. I do mini for Endo. Good man, Rasher. Maybe we can coordinate something there. Let's have a chat with Amy there one of the evenings. Let's see what Amy thinks. If she picks Dublin or Cork, I'm open to doing both, like whichever she picks. I don't mind. And we go running for Endo. Let her lead the way then. She can be our designer, our fashion designer for the day. But yeah, that'll be a good crack. I'm sure we will get a lot more uptake there for the mini marathon anyway than we would for the actual marathon. It's just something I really want to do myself personally, is actually just run a marathon. I don't know why, but I took a liking to going on runs, especially when I done that one with Alexis when we ran the 420 kilometers in the month of April, was it that time, whenever it was. It's pinned to my X accounts page actually, but we raised over €600, I think, or was it €900? Jeez, pinned to my page and I can't remember the amount. For the Laura Lynn Children's Hospice that time, cause close to my heart. But yeah, we raised the money for that cause that time, but we ran 420 kilometers in a month, 14 kilometers a day over the course of 30 days, I think it was. Do the math there, should be 420. Maybe it was 31 days, I don't know. But anyhow. Martin, take care too, but you might be gone already, but have a good one. I'm going to be gone there now very shortly myself. Oh look, I did end up, guys. Look, your conversation is yeah, so capturing. conversing with you guys. Where does the time go? Look at this. 2 minutes to 4:20. And look at this. A bowl fully packed. Where we go. Don't be zooming in there now on that dirt inside me bong. I'd be trying to spare the isopropyl these days, and the bong is getting a little bit neglected. Should give it a blast of hot water later. Hot water, salt, and a nice bit of salt. Wrap up the bong with some cling film. Give it a good hell of a shake. Then the salt and the hot water is enough to kind of cause a bit of a scrape in there to strip the gunk off of it. Anyway, I found that's one way I found of not having to use the isopropyl. It'll strip some of the heavy stuff off, but you really need to use the isopropyl to clean up the glass, give you a nice clear look. Countdown is on, guys. Countdown is on. 1 minute to go. Are you ready out there? Mr. Wes just back from working on the car says you're still alive. Absolute legend. Yes, indeed. We went for a late one tonight. It just kind of happened. I was only saying there about 20 minutes ago. I was like, no, I don't think I'll be still on for the next 4:20 or whatever. But yeah, here we are. Bowl at the ready. Oh, there's a bit of hash in this, so I think I might get me a wick ready for this one. Wick at the ready. Well, it's out there. Did it better than the cocks? Sure. Roving reporter, man. Here we go, guys. Here we go. And gals. When I say guys, I mean that in a non-binary way. 4:20. Here we go. Right button. Woo! But in all reality, this is the noise you want to be hearing on 4:20, isn't it? Well, there it goes. Happy 420 at Puerto Rico and all of those other places. I'm just going to finish blazing on this one, guys. I'll read out a couple of more of your comments there as they come in, and then we're definitely going to be gone after that. 20 past 8, that's mad. Didn't expect that earlier. Good lordy, these bloody hash balls pack such a punch. Oh, and they just keep hitting, like there's just no end to them either, is there? But civil disobedience at its best. A long display of civil disobedience thanks to the bubble hash. Yes. Rasher says any oxy action powder is great for glass. There you go, guys. Another great suggestion coming in from a guy who likes his glassware. I think any guy who's on the dabbing rig and has gone through like the trouble I've seen Rasher go to in maintaining the cleanliness of his dabbing rig certainly knows how to maintain clean glass. Ooh. Still a hit left in this. And there we go. All out of steam. Robin Porter says, like in all cases, what that's that say? Wipe under the rim, is that what you say? Yeah, wipe under the rim. Sorry, that was the kind of blocked out there by me flask and the love heart. Oh yes. Yeah, I think that's what I'll do there now. For herself is not awake when we go inside. Oops. Forgot that I had my thing still open. Boom. There we go. Owen Pony. What's happening? He says, hey Martin boy, is this really happening? It is, kid. Owen Pony. Um yeah, so guys, that is the end of the stream anyway. I ain't got much else to say. It looks like people in the hot box are all signing off as well. As I say, I got a date there now with Tommy Tiernan and hopefully my significant other. If I don't get evicted for staying up with you for so long. Says, was wondering would I ever see you again. Refresh my memory on, okay? When was the last time we met? You'll have to do it in me DMs though, because I'm going to say goodbye when I love you and leave you. Because I do have to start shutting down things, cutting out of the studio here and get inside. But I'll pick up the conversation there in the DMs if you want to fire on my way. Well, online, like, yeah, fair enough. I was just wondering, like, I knew a few ones and I haven't seen them in a while. So I was wondering, have I met you? But anyway, guys, yes, Teresa says, look forward to seeing you all in the lads in Barcelona. Oh, guys, that's going to be epic. And we'll certainly do a stream there from Barcelona. I'm going to look at my bags, actually. I'll see what the story is with my bags and what I can pack. I'd say streams are going to just have to be done from, and where is it actually? Oh, it's inside my phone. I reckon streams are just going to be done from my phone. I have a kit there, a Bluetooth mic, wireless mic, but I reckon it might be a bit overkill, and depending on where we are, we'll see. We'll see. Where is it actually? My microphone. It's probably inside. Found one of my wind deflector things for it, but I got a Martin's World one as well, so we can represent over there. Yeah, tis around somewhere anyway. Tis around somewhere. Was just hoping it would be nearby. But yeah, Spanibus, do look forward to it, and I do look forward to having chats with yourselves on here as well, and streaming from there. Having a bit of a live session from over there as well, maybe. But guys, anyway, for fear of waffling on here, I'll be on for another hour, which I'll be here for the next 4:20. I'll definitely be getting evicted. Much love, guys. Thanks everybody for tuning in, and until next time. And apologies again, actually, for the technical difficulties earlier. Bloody gremlins have been out to get me there a lot lately, but fingers crossed there we get on top of that and improve this setup here, make it a bit more gremlin proof. But peace out, guys. Stay blazed. Keep her lit. Much love.